The coronavirus pandemic is leading the country to the brink of financial crisis.
26 million people have become unemployed in the last 5 weeks.
People are going to end up losing their homes, and, we don't know if we might end up being one of them.
Economists warn that this is likely to be different from anything we've seen in the last 100 years, because we're looking at a financial crisis on top of a public health emergency.
This is totally different, where we're shutting down the economy to protect our health.
The pain is going to be severe and real. It's not going to be something where the government can wave a wand, even if it's a $2 trillion wand, and just say, we'll just move on from this.
But even if this challenge is new, previous experience can still offer important perspectives about uncertainty and risk and the human ability to persist, ideas that matter in the COVID-19 era. I'm Jessica Mendoza with the Christian Science Monitor, and in this series, we look at how history can help us understand the issues we face today. In this episode, economic crises.
(1929). The financial house of cards collapses.
We know that when a financial crisis is big enough, it can reshape an entire society. We've seen it before.
People who have grandparents, great-grandparents who lived through the Great Depression, that it had an effect on their whole lives. They knew that the economy could go down really hard and really fast, and it was tremendously important to them to save money and to have a reserve.
We saw echoes of that shift in behavior during the Great Recession.
Over the past few weeks, many Americans have felt anxiety about their finances and their future.
The generation that came of age when the housing market crashed is still reeling from that crisis, especially since they also faced other cultural and economic factors that made it hard to recover, like rising college costs.
Those of my friends that have graduated just say, welcome to unemployment.
People who graduated them were much less likely to have bought a house. They're much less likely to have taken out a mortgage. That fear of it going wrong is especially strong for folks who just lived through that.
And it wasn't just behavior that shifted in the aftermath of economic collapse. Institutions saw change too.
After all, there is an element in the readjustment of our financial system more important than currency, more important than gold, and that is the confidence of the people themselves.
A whole bunch of laws about banking and risk sharing and deposit insurance and all that stuff were created in the Great Depression because people said, well, we need to do something to fight back against these risks and chances of things breaking down.
We saw a similar effort to change the way our financial system worked after 2008 through laws like the Dodd-Frank Act.
Never again should the American taxpayer be asked to write a check because of an implicit guarantee that the federal government will bail out a company when it collapses.
It's an imperfect law in many ways, but at least it was an attempt to say, we're going to try and make sure the banks are really, really, really safe, and they're not going to melt down in the future. And so in that sense, the banks right now, I think, are much better prepared for something to go wrong than they were circa 2007.
There's still a lot of debate over whether or not those steps were the right ones. But still, they show that we are capable of extraordinary action during tough times, which economists say is what we'll need again today.
It's really important to treat it as wartime. It requires out-of-the-box policies.
Who cares that you've never done it? That's really irrelevant. It's what we have to do now.
You have to make a decision, best evidence available, but you have to be able to change that decision and to adapt.
The bill is passed.
And so, as we brace ourselves for difficult times ahead, it's worth remembering.
We're living through something that past generations have lived through. This is not a 21st century invention. So you get through it. You change some patterns, you do other things. And then we kind of hope that in some period of time, we can be down the other side of the curve and things will look better.
Thanks for joining us. If you like this video, please hit thumbs up or share. And for more of our coverage of this pandemic, go to csmonitor.com/coronavirus.